Let me ask you something personal. Do you find yourself staring at the ceiling at 3 in the morning, wide awake, wondering why this keeps happening to you? You're exhausted, you want to sleep, but night after night, your eyes just open. Same time. Every time. If you're nodding your head right now, I want you to know something important. This isn't random, and it's definitely not just old age. Your body is actually trying to tell you something. Today we're going to uncover the 5 real reasons why your body keeps waking you up in the middle of the night. And more importantly, I'm going to show you exactly what you can do to finally sleep peacefully again. So get comfortable, and let's figure this out together. It's 3 a.m. The house is completely silent. Not even the sound of traffic outside, just you, lying there in the darkness, fully awake when you desperately want to be asleep. You flip your pillow to the cool side. You adjust your blanket. You try lying on your left side, then your right. Nothing works. And the frustrating part? You did everything right before bed. Maybe you had some warm milk. Maybe you read a few pages of a book. You even tried counting backwards from 100. But here you are again, awake at 3 a.m. just like last night and the night before that. Sound familiar? Here's what most people don't realize. Waking up at 3 a.m. isn't just bad luck or insomnia. It's actually your body sending you specific signals. And once you understand what those signals mean, you can finally do something about it. So let's dive into the 5 surprising reasons this keeps happening, and I promise, by the end of this video, you'll have real solutions you can use tonight. Reason number 1, your liver is working the night shift. Okay, stay with me on this one, because it might sound a bit unusual at first. Your liver, that amazing organ that filters everything in your body, actually has a schedule, and its busiest working hours? Between 1 and 3 in the morning. Think of your liver as your body's nighttime cleanup crew. While you're sleeping, it's hard at work detoxifying your blood, processing everything you ate that day, breaking down medications, and basically doing a deep clean of your entire system. But here's where problems start. If your liver is overloaded, maybe because you ate a heavy dinner late at night, had some wine before bed, or indulged in dessert at 9 p.m., it struggles to keep up with all that work. And when your liver is overwhelmed, it doesn't suffer in silence. It wakes you up. Now you might be thinking, how would I even know if my liver is the problem? Great question. Here are the telltale signs. You wake up feeling unusually hot or restless. Your mouth is dry and you're suddenly thirsty. Sometimes you feel anxious for no apparent reason, like something's wrong, but you can't put your finger on what. Let me tell you about Mr. Chen, a gentleman in his early 70s I know. Every single night he'd wake up at 3:07 a.m., so precise he could set his watch by it. He assumed it was stress or maybe just getting old. But when we looked at his daily routine, we found the real culprit. He was eating dinner at 9 p.m., sometimes even 10 p.m., big, heavy meals right before bed. His poor liver was trying to digest all that food at the exact time it needed to be doing its cleanup work. The solution? We shifted his dinner to 6:30 p.m. and made it lighter. More vegetables, lean protein, less fat, and carbs. Within just 2 weeks, those 3 a.m. wake-ups started fading away. He couldn't believe it was that simple. Here's what you can try tonight. Eat your last big meal at least 3 to 4 hours before bed. Keep it light. Think grilled chicken and vegetables, not pasta with cream sauce. Skip the alcohol and sweets in the evening. And drink plenty of water during the day so your liver has what it needs to do its job efficiently. Your liver isn't trying to punish you, it's just asking for a little help. Give it that support, and you might be amazed at how much better you sleep. Reason number 2, your blood sugar is playing a dangerous game. Here's something that surprises almost everyone I talk to. Even if you've never been diagnosed with diabetes, even if your doctor says your blood sugar is perfectly fine, you can still wake up at 3 a.m. because of glucose problems. Let me explain how this works. Your brain is an incredibly demanding organ. It doesn't have any way to store fuel. It needs a constant, steady supply of glucose, sugar, from your blood to keep functioning. Every single moment, day and night. So picture this scenario. You finish dinner around 7 p.m. Maybe you have a small bowl of ice cream afterward or a couple of cookies with your tea. Perhaps you enjoy a glass of wine while watching TV. All perfectly normal, right? You fall asleep just fine around 10 or 11 p.m. But here's what happens inside your body. That sweet snack or alcohol causes your blood sugar to spike quickly. Your body responds by releasing insulin to bring it back down, and it works, maybe a little too well. By 2 or 3 a.m., your blood sugar has crashed. It's dropped too low, and your brain, which has been running on glucose all night, suddenly realizes, wait, we're running out of fuel. So it does the only thing it can. It triggers an emergency wake-up call. But you don't just wake up peacefully. Often, your heart is racing. You feel anxious, worried, or panicky for no clear reason. Sometimes you're sweating. Your mouth feels dry. You might even feel slightly shaky or dizzy. Many people tell me I thought I was having panic attacks in the middle of the night. But what they're really experiencing is their brain's alarm system saying, we need fuel now. I remember working with a lovely lady named Dorothy, who was in her late 70s. She came to me absolutely exhausted. Every night at 3 a.m., she'd wake up with her heart pounding, her mind racing with worry. She thought maybe she was developing anxiety in her old age. But when I asked about her bedtime routine, she admitted she loved having tea and cookies before bed. It was her nightly ritual, something she'd done for years. We made one simple swap. Instead of cookies, she started having a small handful of almonds with a few apple slices. The protein and healthy fat from the almonds, combined with the fiber from the apple, kept her blood sugar stable all night long. Within 1 week, just 7 days, she told me, I'm sleeping through the night again. I had no idea it was the cookies. Here's what you need to understand. Your body isn't broken. It just needs steady, reliable fuel throughout the night. So if you wake up at 3 a.m. with your heart racing or feeling anxious, before you blame stress or worry, take a good look at what you're eating in the evening. Swap out the sweets, the alcohol, the refined carbs. Instead, have a small protein-based snack before bed. A few nuts, some Greek yogurt, a bit of cheese with whole grain crackers, or even a hard-boiled egg. These foods release energy slowly and steadily, keeping your blood sugar level while you sleep. Your brain stays calm, and instead of sounding the alarm at 3 a.m., your body lets you rest peacefully until morning. Reason number 3. You're experiencing ancient sleep patterns. Now, this one is absolutely fascinating, and it might completely change how you think about waking up at night. Did you know that sleeping for 8 hours straight is actually a relatively modern concept? For most of human history, thousands and thousands of years, people didn't sleep in one continuous block. They practiced what historians call segmented sleep or biphasic sleep. Here's how it worked. Our ancestors would go to bed shortly after sunset, around 8 or 9 p.m. They'd sleep deeply for about 4 or 5 hours. Then naturally, they'd wake up in the middle of the night, usually around 1 or 2 a.m. But here's the key. They didn't panic about it. They didn't toss and turn. They just got up for a while. They might stoke the fire to keep the house warm, check on the children, step outside to look at the stars. Some people used this quiet time for prayer or meditation. Others would have gentle conversations with their spouse. Some would do light chores or simply sit and think. After an hour or two, they'd naturally feel sleepy again and return to bed for their second sleep, waking refreshed at sunrise. This wasn't considered insomnia or a sleep problem. It was just normal life, the natural rhythm of human sleep. In fact, historical records, old diaries, and literature from past centuries frequently mention this watching period in the middle of the night. It was so common that people didn't even think twice about it. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Those ancient sleep rhythms are still buried deep in your biology. Even though we live in a modern world with electric lights and 24-hour schedules, your body still remembers that old pattern. And as we age and our sleep naturally becomes lighter, that ancestral rhythm can resurface. Your body, following patterns that kept humans alive for millennia, gently wakes you up in the middle of the night, not because something's wrong, but because it's following ancient programming. So if you wake up at 3 a.m., it might not be a problem at all. It might simply be your body remembering. Now, of course, you don't need to tend a fire or guard the village anymore, but here's the powerful part. If you understand that this wake up might be completely natural, even ancient, you can approach it totally differently. Instead of immediately thinking, "Oh no, I'm awake again, this is terrible," you can think, this is just my body's natural rhythm. It's okay. One woman I know used to dread waking up at 3 a.m. She'd lie there getting more and more anxious, which of course made it impossible to fall back asleep. But when she learned about segmented sleep, everything changed. She started thinking of that time as her quiet hour, a peaceful moment just for herself. Sometimes she'd write in a journal. Sometimes she'd pray or practice gentle breathing. Sometimes she'd just sit by the window and look at the moon. And you know what happened? Within about 15 to 20 minutes, she'd naturally feel sleepy again and drift back into a deep, restful second sleep. The trick isn't fighting it. When you resist being awake, when you get frustrated or anxious, your brain becomes alert and activated. But when you accept it, when you see it as natural, even beautiful, it loses its power to upset you. So tonight, if you find yourself awake at 3 a.m., try whispering to yourself, "This is just my body's ancient rhythm. I'm safe. I'll rest again soon." You might be surprised at how that simple shift in perspective transforms those dark hours from frustrating to peaceful. Reason number 4, your bladder has become oversensitive. All right. Let's talk about something practical that affects almost every senior I know. Nighttime bathroom trips. When you wake up at 3 a.m., do you usually need to use the bathroom? If you answered yes, you probably assume, well, of course I woke up. I had to go. But here's a surprising truth that changes everything. Sometimes it works the other way around. You don't wake up because your bladder is full. You wake up first for one of the other reasons we've talked about, and then your bladder notices you're awake and says, "Oh, hey, since you're up anyway, let's go to the bathroom." This is what I call the sensitive bladder effect. As we age, our bladder muscles change. They don't stretch as much. They become more reactive. Even a relatively small amount of urine can trigger that gotta-go feeling, when years ago you would have slept right through it. Add medications into the mix, blood pressure pills, diuretics, even some heart medications, and suddenly your body is producing more urine at night. Your sleep gets interrupted over and over. But here's the part nobody explains. Sometimes your bladder isn't actually full, it's just overactive, like an overly sensitive car alarm that goes off if a leaf touches it. Let me tell you about Mr. Thompson, a gentleman in his early 80s. He told me, "I get up to use the bathroom 3 times every night. My doctor says it's just my age, nothing to be done about it." But when we dug deeper, I discovered he was drinking 2 large glasses of water right before bed, thinking he needed to stay hydrated through the night. His poor bladder was getting overwhelmed. We made a simple change. Drink plenty of water in the morning and afternoon. Stay well hydrated during the day. But after 7 p.m., just small sips as needed. His nighttime bathroom trips dropped from 3 to 1, and often he slept straight through until morning. He couldn't believe such a small adjustment made such a huge difference. Here's another example. A woman named Margaret told me, "I wake up to use the bathroom, but sometimes when I get there, hardly anything comes out." That's the oversensitive bladder at work, sending strong signals even when there's not much urgency. For her, we tried pelvic floor exercises, Kegels, and cutting out evening caffeine. Within a few weeks, she wasn't waking at 3 a.m. anymore. So here's what I want you to think about. How many of your 3 a.m. wake-ups are actually caused by your bladder? And how many times is your bladder just responding to the fact that you're already awake? The good news is this is manageable. Shift most of your fluid intake to earlier in the day. Limit liquids after 7 p.m. Avoid caffeine and alcohol in the evening. Both irritate the bladder. Talk to your doctor about whether any medications might be contributing. Consider gentle pelvic floor exercises to strengthen bladder control. When your bladder isn't constantly pulling you out of sleep, your nights become deeper, calmer, and more restorative. Reason number 5. Your emotional brain takes over at night. Here's the final piece of the puzzle, and it's probably the most important one for many people. Have you ever noticed that worries feel absolutely overwhelming at 3 a.m., but then by morning, they seem so much smaller? You're not imagining that. There's actual neuroscience behind it. Here's what happens. During the day, your rational brain, the prefrontal cortex, is active and helping you keep perspective. It's like having a wise, calm friend whispering, "It's okay, you've got this. Don't worry so much." But at night, especially in those early morning hours, your rational brain goes offline. It's resting. Meanwhile, your emotional brain, the limbic system, stays awake and active. Without your rational brain there to balance things out, your emotions run wild, fear feels bigger, worries feel heavier. A small concern that wouldn't even register during the day suddenly feels like a catastrophe. That's why so many people tell me, I wake up at 3 a.m. and my mind just races. I think about every mistake I've ever made, every bill I need to pay, every health concern, every what if in the world. By daylight, those same worries shrink back down to size, but at night, with only your emotional brain in charge, they feel enormous and urgent. I call this the 3 a.m. anxiety trap. Let me share a story about my neighbor, Evelyn. She used to call 3 a.m. her worry hour. She'd wake suddenly, heart pounding, and immediately her thoughts would spiral. What if I get really sick? What if I can't take care of myself? What if I become a burden to my children? These thoughts would spiral and spiral until she was wide awake, exhausted, and dreading the next night. But when I explained to her what was really happening in her brain, something clicked. I told her, "Evelyn, 3 a.m. thoughts are like drunk texts. Never trust them." She laughed so hard. But then she really got it. Those middle-of-the-night worries weren't the truth. They were distortions created by her emotional brain working without its rational partner. She started keeping a small notebook by her bed. Whenever she woke with worries, she'd simply write them down. Just getting them out of her head and onto paper made them feel less scary. She also practiced a simple breathing technique. Breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 7 seconds, exhale slowly for 8 seconds. This calms your nervous system almost immediately. Within a few weeks, she told me, my 3 a.m. thoughts don't control me anymore. I still wake sometimes, but I don't spiral. I feel peaceful again. And that's the key insight I want you to take with you. Your 3 a.m. thoughts are not truth. They're not prophecies. They're not warnings. They're simply echoes of your emotional brain, amplified by darkness and quiet. When you understand this, you can meet those thoughts with gentleness instead of fear. Instead of fighting them, you can say to yourself, this is just my emotional brain talking. These thoughts will look completely different in the morning, and I promise you, they always do. So there you have it. The 5 real reasons your body keeps waking you up at 3 a.m. Your liver working overtime, blood sugar crashes, ancient sleep rhythms, an oversensitive bladder, and your emotional brain running wild in the darkness. But here's what I really want you to remember. You're not broken. You're not just getting old. Your body is simply trying to communicate with you. And now that you understand what it's saying, you can finally respond in the right way. Maybe you need to eat dinner earlier and lighter. Maybe you need to swap your evening cookies for some almonds. Maybe you just need to accept that waking up briefly is natural and ancient, not something to fear. Whatever changes resonate with you, start small. Pick just one thing to try tonight, and be patient with yourself. Real change takes a little time. You deserve peaceful nights and bright, energetic mornings, and they're absolutely within your reach. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 5 reasons surprised you the most, and which solution are you going to try first? Drop a comment below, and let's talk about it. If this video helped you understand what's been happening with your sleep, please hit that like button. It helps us reach more people who need this information. And don't forget to subscribe to KindCare Seniors and ring that notification bell so you never miss our weekly tips on sleep, health, and living your best life after 60. Sweet dreams, my friend. You've got this. I'll see you in the next video.